Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news tonight on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Prime Ministers of India and Israel take bilateral relations to a new high of warmth and emotional connect. Visiting Prime Minister Netanyahu says Israel believes in India. PM Modi says both countries can hugely gain from each other. On Army Day, India forces gunned down 7 Pakistani soldiers in Kashmir. The retaliatory action comes in the wake of Pakistani firing that killed an Indian soldier along the line of control in Rajouri district on Saturday. Judges' controversy in the Supreme Court resolved, says the Bar Council of India. All 4 judges who aired their grievances against the Chief Justice of India attended court on Monday. UIDAI adds new feature to make Aadhaar more secure to users. Registered devices to be allowed face authentication as an additional biometric option. And 35 people killed in twin suicide bombings in Iraqi capital Baghdad. Death toll in the second such attack in 3 days likely to go up. India and Israel today launched the first Industrial Research and Development Fund to train Indian youth for path-breaking technological solutions. The decision to create the $40 million fund was taken during Modi's visit to Israel last year for an interactive and joint working program that will involve youth from both countries in data analysis and cyber security. The decision was announced by both Prime Ministers during Business Summit in Delhi on Monday evening. Ahead of the Business Summit, both Prime Ministers also reviewed business climate initiatives taken after decisions taken during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Israel in July 2017.
A historic moment.
Economic reform is key because you cannot move if you're stuck. If you're mired in very high taxes and very high bureaucracy, it's very difficult to move because people want to be able to see the fruit of their labors, and for that you have to have a streamlined economy. I just heard from Prime Minister Modi an impressive statistic that India moved in the 4 years that you have been stewarding its effort, 42 places in the business-friendly index. I have to say we have not moved as much. Now, let me tell you why I think Prime Minister Modi is hitting the nail right on the head. Because bureaucracy is a tremendous opportunity for growth. You don't believe me? Bureaucracy is a tremendous opportunity for growth because when you remove it, it grows. So we both have a treasure. We have abundant bureaucracy. And if we keep hacking away at it, you're going to see more and more and more growth. Now the second thing, technology. There is not going to be any more this distinction between high-tech and low-tech, because over time, just about everything will be technologized, everything. We see it in specific areas. We see it in, obviously in communications. We see it in water. We see it in agriculture. We talked in the room adjacent to this briefly now about not smart cities, smart fields, precision agriculture.
It was a very special visit. I experienced at close quarters the remarkable spirit of innovation, enterprise, and perseverance that drives Israel. There is new energy and purpose that has invigorated our ties over the last few years. It will help take over cooperation to greater heights. We stand on the cusp of a bright new chapter in India-Israel relations, driven by our people and the mutual opportunities for betterment of their lives. The role of business and industry is crucial in the transformation of our ties. It is your combined efforts that will add real value to our interaction and produce concrete success. Given the scale of the Indian economy and the relevance of cutting-edge Israeli technologies for us, even sky is not the limit for what we may achieve together. Friends, I'm delighted that today we have launched the maiden call for joint R&D projects under the India-Israel Industrial R&D and Technological Innovation Fund, I4F.
Meanwhile, earlier in the day, the two countries pledged to increase engagements in all spheres that will make a difference in the lives of common people in India and Israel. Both Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu communicated these decisions in a joint statement after a summit-level meeting on Monday.
At the end of their delegation-level talks, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and visiting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu released a joint statement.
First, we will strengthen the existing pillars of cooperation in areas that touch the lives of our people. These are agriculture, science and technology, and security.
Israel is a fountainhead of innovation. It's a global force of technology. India abounds with creativity, with ingenuity, with scientists, with mathematicians. And I think that when we join our respective talents together, we can achieve tremendous things for our people. We can actually achieve, you say we want more. Prime Minister Modi and I are the same. We want more for our people. We want it now. We want it yesterday.
Earlier, both sides held discussions ranging from cooperation on terrorism to agriculture and innovation. They signed 9 agreements in various fields. The agreements were on cybersecurity cooperation, petroleum and oil sector cooperation, protocol amendment, airport transfer agreement, film co-production, Council of Research on Homeopathy and Ayush, space science technology, letters of intent for investments in both countries, letters of intent in metal technology and solar technology.
We have imparted our shared impatience to the implementation of our earlier decisions. The results are already visible on the ground. Our discussions today were marked by convergence to accelerate our engagement and to scale up our partnership.
Netanyahu also praised Prime Minister Narendra Modi, calling him a revolutionary leader with an unparalleled zeal to help the Indians. Modi responded by calling the relationship with Israel the relationship of the century.
You are a revolutionary leader, in the best sense of the word revolution. You are revolutionizing India. You're catapulting this magnificent state into the future, and you have revolutionized the relationship between Israel and India.
Your visit, Prime Minister, is a long-anticipated moment in the journey of friendship between India and Israel. Your visit is also a fitting climax to the commemoration of 25th year of diplomatic relations between India and Israel.
In their first summit meeting this year, both leaders also reviewed the progress of relations between the two countries. Condemning the menace of terrorism in the strongest possible words, Netanyahu said Israel will always stand by India on the issue.
Indians and Israelis know too well the pain of terrorist attacks. We remember the horrific savagery in Mumbai. We grit our teeth. We fight back. We never give in.
Later, both Prime Ministers also took part in the India-Israel CEO Forum meet, where a report was presented on the prospects of further cooperation among industries.
Both the Prime Ministers were quite at ease, and spark in their eyes were telling the story that there is no glitch in the relationship. The relationship of the future is fructifying.
In the morning, the Israeli Prime Minister was given a ceremonial welcome at the Rashtrapati Bhavan before his meeting with President Ramnath Kovind. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the 70th Army Day was celebrated on Monday with the annual parade in the national capital. The parade was reviewed by Army Chief General Bipin Rawat, who also presented gallantry and other awards to Army personnel. He also stressed that India is now galvanizing its indigenous defence industrial base. President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi also saluted the valiant heroes of the armed forces for their sacrifices.
India remembered its brave hearts on the 70th Army Day at the Army Day Parade in the national capital on Monday. Army Chief General Bipin Rawat inspected the Guard of Honour and presented gallantry awards to Army personnel. Awards were also given posthumously to salute the valiant soldiers who laid down their lives for the country. General Rawat also said that India is working towards progressively reducing dependency on foreign manufacturers and developing defence capabilities indigenously.
फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2017 और 18 में हमने 30,000 करोड़ रुपए से अधिक के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फाइनल किए हैं। रक्षा मंत्री स्वयं हमारी प्रक्रिया को बढ़ावा दे रही हैं और डिफेंस एक्विजिशन काउंसिल की मीटिंग महीने में 2 बार होने लगी हैं।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi took to Twitter to extend greetings to soldiers and their families and to salute the army. He said that every citizen of the country has unwavering trust and pride in the army, which protects the nation and is also at the forefront of humanitarian efforts during times of natural disasters and other accidents. He also praised the army for always putting the nation first and saluted all those who had sacrificed their lives while serving the nation. The Indian Army is the second largest standing army in the world with about 1,129,900 active troops and 9,60,000 reserve troops. Army is celebrated on January 15th every year in recognition of Field Marshal K.M. Cariappa taking over as the first Commander-in-Chief of the Indian Army from General Sir Francis Butcher, the last British Commander-in-Chief of India in 1949.
As the country saluted Indian Army on the Army Day for its stellar role in nation building, the Army Chief gave a very stern message to all the anti-India forces. He also underlined that Indian Army is ensuring long-term capability and self-reliance in defence production by proactively pursuing the Make in India initiative. Indigenous capability is the key to India's defence preparedness, reconnaissance and deterrence. From Delhi, with camera person Saroj, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
Meanwhile, President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi greeted the officers and soldiers of the Indian Army and their families on the occasion of Army Day. In a tweet, President Ramnath Kovind extended his greetings to the valiant men and women of the Indian Army. He also said that the Indian Army men are the nation's pride and the sentinels of our liberty. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also took to Twitter to greet the soldiers and said, on this important day, let us all show our gratitude to our brave soldiers for their service to the motherland. Meanwhile, the Indian Army shot dead 7 Pakistani soldiers on Monday in retaliatory action along the line of control in Poonch district of Jammu and Kashmir. The action was in retaliation to an Indian soldier being killed in Pakistani firing in Rajouri district on Saturday. Army Chief General Bipin Rawat warned of stronger reaction against Pakistan-supported terrorism.
The Indian Army marked Army Day on Monday, killing 7 and injuring 4 Pakistani soldiers, just hours after the action across the Jagolte area near the line of control in Mendhar sector of Poonch district. Army Chief General Bipin Rawat lashed out at Pakistan for repeatedly trying to sneak terrorists into India. General Rawat said Indian forces will not hesitate to step up their military offensive if Pakistan did not desist from provocative actions.
नियंत्रण रेखा पर पाकिस्तानी सेना संघर्ष विराम का उल्लंघन जारी रखते हुए आतंकवादियों की घुसपैठ में सहायता करने के प्रयास करती रहती है। हम विरोधियों को सबक सिखाने के लिए अपनी ताकत का इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं। पाकिस्तान की किसी भी उकसाने वाली कार्रवाई का हम हमेशा मुंह तोड़ जवाब देते रहेंगे। अगर हमें मजबूर किया गया तब हम अपनी सैन्य कार्रवाई के दर्जे को बढ़ाकर अन्य कार्रवाई भी कर सकते हैं।
On Monday, security forces also shot dead 5 Jaish-e-Mohammed infiltrators in the Uri sector of Kashmir. The terrorists were reportedly planning a strike similar to the December 31st attack on the Central Reserve Police Force camp in Pulwama.
5 terrorists have been neutralized. The bodies of 4 terrorists have been recovered. The 5th terrorist was sitting next to the boat. So he has been neutralized in the same area, and his body we cannot recover because it is now probably under the water.
The Army Chief also assured the nation that the Army is committed to preventing all disputes and transgressions along the line of actual control in northern border along China. General Rawat also said the armed forces need to continuously come up with fresh strategies and new tactics to deal with the situation on the border. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the Bar Council of India on Monday confirmed that the tussle between 4 judges of the Supreme Court and the Chief Justice is over. The statement came after the BCI members met 15 Supreme Court judges to resolve the issue. Meanwhile, the Chief Justice refused to entertain a plea by an advocate to take action against the 4 senior judges.
The Bar Council of India has said that the unprecedented crisis that hit the Supreme Court with 4 senior judges holding a press conference has now been resolved. The 4 top judges and the Chief Justice of India attended work as usual on Monday. The Bar Council has also urged everyone not to politicize the issue. On Sunday, a 7-member BCI delegation met 15 judges of the Supreme Court following the crisis in the apex judiciary.
They have resolved the whatever little issues were there. We were very much hopeful that the honorable judges themselves, they will evolve some in-house mechanism. They have already done it. They sat over at tea and they have settled the issue. This mediation was a little bit required and they have resolved the issue.
Earlier in the day, Attorney General K.K. Venugopal said that all 4 judges had attended their courts and therefore everything was okay.
आज जैसा कि अटॉर्नी जनरल साहब ने भी कहा, उन्होंने अपना मसला हल कर लिया और आज आपने देखा होगा कि सारे कोर्ट बहुत स्मूथली फंक्शन कर रहे हैं. They all are discharging their duties. ये उनके घर की आपस की बात थी, हल्का फुल्का कुछ मामला था. इसमें नेबर लोगों ने चाहा कि हम नाजायज फ़ायदा उठा लें. हमारे यहाँ रोज़ किटपिट होता है तो हम भी कुछ फ़ायदा उठा लें. वो चाहे कोई पॉलिटिकल पार्टी हो या कुछ हमारे गिने चुने मेंबर्स ऑफ द बार हों, लेकिन इसका फ़ायदा किसी को मिला नहीं.
The forces had criticized the Chief Justice over allocation of cases, alleging that the administration of the top court was not in order. Ravindra Sharon's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, in other news now, in its effort to increase security for citizens' information on Aadhaar cards, the Unique Identification Authority of India has introduced face authentication along with fingerprints and iris. Face authentication will be used in fusion along with the existing modes such as fingerprints, iris and one-time password. The measure that will be implemented by July this year is expected to increase security by adding another layer of verification. In a notification on Monday, UIDAI said that face authentication will provide additional choice for those having difficulty with their fingerprints iris authentication. A face photo is already available in the database. There is no need to capture new data. It will work with biometric device providers, to integrate face modality into certified registered devices and also provide standalone registered device service as required. Well, India's exports grew to $27.03 billion in December 2017 from $26.19 billion in November 2017, official data showed on Monday. According to Ministry of Commerce and Industry, exports during last month exhibited a growth of 12.36% on a year-on-year basis on account of strong performance by sectors like engineering, goods and petroleum products. Imports surged significantly to $41.91 billion, up 21.12% on increased inbound shipments of crude oil and gold. As per the data released by the Commerce Ministry, the trade deficit or difference between imports and exports was 14.88 billion, up about 41% year-on-year. Exports of engineering goods as well as petroleum products showed an increase of over 25% in December. However, shipments of ready-made garments declined by 8% to $1.33 billion last month. Moving on to some international news now, at least 35 people were killed in a twin suicide bombing attack in the Iraqi capital, Baghdad. This was the second attack in 3 days. More than 90 people were injured in the attack in Tayaran Square in the city centre. Officials say that the death toll is likely to rise further. According to the Interior Ministry, 2 men wearing suicide vests packed with explosives carried out the attack. The site of the attack is a busy square where large crowds of construction workers gather to find work every morning. Militants have targeted it in the past as well. No group immediately claimed responsibility for the attack, but bore all the hallmarks of the Islamic State group, which has claimed many such attacks in the past. A suicide bomb attack on a checkpoint in the north of the city on Saturday killed at least 5 people. Staying with international news now, a second-floor ceiling collapsed at the Jakarta Stock Exchange building, leaving dozens of people injured. Indonesian police has ruled out a bomb as a cause of the ceiling collapse. Images show pieces of ceiling and broken furniture in the lobby of the building in the Indonesian capital amid clouds of dust. The high-rise building, constructed in the late 1990s, is part of a 2-tower complex also housing offices of the World Bank and the International Finance Corporation. It was a target of a car bombing by Islamist militants in September 2000.
Saat ini dapat dipastikan bahwa ini bukan karena bahan meledak. Tolong dicatat betul, bukan karena bahan meledak atau bom. Ya, sementara dalam penyelidikan.
Pada saat ini yang terregistrasi di rumah sakit kami sudah 30 korban. Yang patah tulang ada 1, dugaan patah tulangnya pada saat ini yang terupdate ada 3.
Well, here's a roundup of the other international news in Global Buzz. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov clarified on Monday that Moscow won't support attempts by Washington to modify the Iran nuclear deal. Lavrov said Russia intends to preserve the existing deal and will work in that direction. He also warned that the agreement's collapse could be detrimental to a dialogue with North Korea. Thousands fled their homes as the Philippines' most active volcano rumbled back to life. Lava oozed out of the volcano on Monday, forcing nearly 12,000 people to leave the danger zone. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology warned that a hazardous eruption of Mount Mayon was possible within weeks or even days. Sri Lanka's Supreme Court informed President Maithripala Sirisena on Monday that the duration of his term of office is 5 years. Sirisena had sought the Apex Court's opinion on whether he can continue in office until 2021. He had requested the country's Apex Court to determine whether his term is 6 years as stated by the 1978 Constitution when he was sworn in on January 9, 2015, or 5 years as mentioned by the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, which was enacted on May 15, 2015. US President Donald Trump has sought to steer clear of the controversy surrounding his derogatory remarks against immigrants from Haiti and Africa. Speaking to reporters in Florida, Trump said he is not a racist, stressing that he is the least racist person the media has ever interviewed. Last week, a row broke out over Trump's use of a derogatory word to describe African nations. Well, that's it on this newscast. Good night.